Cowboys Nation. The NFL season is finally here, and there's no better way to kick things off than with a showdown between the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. This is one of those games that immediately sets the tone for the entire year. When you think about it, Week 1 always carries this unique energy, a mix of anticipation, unpredictability, and the subtle chaos that comes with teams still finding their rhythm. And in this matchup, the stakes couldn't feel any higher. The Eagles, fresh off a Super Bowl victory, come in as favorites, but the Cowboys have been quietly building momentum, and there's no question they're ready to make a statement. Now, stepping into the lineup for Dallas, there are questions that linger, as they always do at the start of the season. The biggest change, of course, is the arrival of the new head coach. Brian Schottenheimer brings a fresh perspective, and with any first-year coach, there's always a period of adjustment. New schemes, new communication styles, new expectations. The team is navigating that transition while also carrying the weight of last season's lessons. Fans are hungry for improvement, but they also know that chemistry doesn't happen overnight. In terms of health, the Cowboys seem to have dodged major injuries, at least for the start. Trayvon Diggs is back on the field, fully participating despite his previous knee concerns, and the offensive side of the ball looks sharp with players like Tyler Ton and Brevin Spanford ready to contribute. There's a lingering question mark around Perrion Winfrey due to some back tightness, but outside of that, the roster looks clean. Having a mostly healthy squad at the start is huge because it gives the coaching staff the flexibility to implement their game plans and make in-game adjustments without constantly worrying about key players being sidelined. The Eagles, meanwhile, are handling their own roster concerns, but nothing too alarming at the moment. A.J. Brown has fully recovered from a hamstring issue and is expected to be ready to dominate the field once again. Jalen Carter is fully participating, and while a few players are listed as limited, it's early in the week, which usually means teams are cautiously managing workloads rather than signaling real game-time absences. Landon Dickerson is one to watch, though. His status is less clear, and if he doesn't suit up, it could leave a noticeable gap on the Eagles' offensive line. Still, this team has depth and experience, and their offensive line is likely to keep things relatively stable even with minor injuries. When it comes to keys for Dallas to pull off the upset, one of the most critical elements is containing Saquon Barkley. Last season, Barkley was arguably the most dominant running back in football, a real MVP contender, racking up nearly 2,000 yards in just 16 games. That's an incredible workload, and while he's still dynamic, history tells us that after such a massive season, even the best backs can see a slight drop in performance. Barkley wasn't heavily involved in the passing game, which means his impact is primarily through explosive runs. Shutting him down, or at least limiting his big plays, is going to be essential for the Cowboys' defense. They need their front line to hold up, their linebackers to read plays quickly, and their secondary to be ready for Barkley when he inevitably slips past the first level of defense. Adding a player like Kenny Clark gives them a boost, but it's unrealistic to expect one man to completely fix a unit that struggled at times last year. The Cowboys' run defense was historically weak, allowing a lot of yards before contact and failing to consistently stop runners at the line of scrimmage. Even when stacking the box, they struggled to contain opponents, ranking near the bottom of the league in efficiency. The presence of Clark certainly helps, but the game will likely come down to team effort rather than individual brilliance. The defensive line, linebackers, and secondary all need to perform in unison to slow down Barkley and the Eagles' ground game. On offense, Dallas must rediscover its rhythm, particularly in the passing game. Dak Prescott needs to channel the best versions of himself from previous seasons, precise, confident, and aggressive. His top receivers, including C.D. Lamb and George Pickens, must step up as well. Pickens might even have a favorable matchup that could swing key moments in the Cowboys' favor. Tight ends like Jake Ferguson need to be reliable over the middle, keeping chains moving and maintaining balance between the run and pass attack. The Cowboys' success hinges on execution in these areas. The passing game sets the tone, and without it firing on all cylinders, it's hard to imagine Dallas keeping pace with a high-powered Eagles offense. Pressure on the quarterback is another decisive factor. Jalen Hurts is mobile and capable of extending plays, which complicates things for any defense. But if the Cowboys can apply consistent pressure, whether through blitzes or individual matchups, they can disrupt Hurts' rhythm. Mobile quarterbacks often buy extra time with their legs, which makes timing and coordination on the defensive side even more crucial. The Cowboys' pass rush, including players like Dante Fowler and Sam Williams, along with interior pressure from Oso Odigizwa and Kenny Clark, must combine to force mistakes and limit explosive plays. Every sack, hurried throw, or disrupted timing could tilt the game in Dallas' favor. The running game for Dallas also has to contribute, even if it's modest. Without some effectiveness on the ground, the offense risks becoming one-dimensional, which allows the Eagles to key in on the pass. Preseason glimpses suggest potential, but real game situations are a different story. The Cowboys need to establish at least a credible threat in the running game to keep the Eagles honest and to prevent long third-and-long situations that could stifle the offense. Success in the run game opens up the field, giving Prescott and his playmakers more room to operate and create explosive moments downfield. Finally, there's the psychological element, the us against the world mindset that can drive a team to perform beyond expectations. Dallas has historically thrived when motivated as underdogs, when they channel doubt and criticism into energy on the field. Brian Schottenheimer can leverage this mentality, instilling belief and focus that can elevate performance. This mindset doesn't guarantee a win, but it's often the spark that ignites a team capable of shocking a powerhouse like the Eagles. With all these elements in play, the health of the roster, run defense, passing game execution, quarterback pressure, a functional ground attack, and the right mindset, the Cowboys have a blueprint for a potentially memorable performance. It won't be easy. Philadelphia is strong, experienced, and coming off a championship. Yet, football is as much about strategy, timing, and momentum as it is about raw talent. A well-prepared Dallas team, executing at a high level, could absolutely make this matchup competitive and even pull off a stunning upset if all the pieces fall into place. Speaking of Prescott, his mental game is just as important as his physical execution. Early season games, particularly on the road against a team like the Eagles, test a quarterback's poise under pressure. Prescott must read defenses quickly, make sharp decisions, and maintain composure even when plays break down. His timing with his receivers is crucial, especially in situations where windows close quickly and defenders are closing in. CeeDee Lamb, as the primary target, will be central to this strategy. Lamb's ability to gain separation, read coverages, and turn short passes into explosive plays can completely change the tempo of the game. George Pickens adds another layer of complexity for Philadelphia's secondary, with his size and route-running abilities providing Prescott with a reliable option in critical situations. Tight ends like Jake Ferguson are expected to be dependable over the middle, crucial for maintaining chains and balancing the offensive attack. On the other side of the ball, the Cowboys' defense faces a formidable challenge. Jalen Hurts is a quarterback who can extend plays with his legs, escape pressure, and create opportunities even when a play seems doomed. Containing him requires disciplined pursuit, gap integrity, and consistent communication across the secondary and linebacking core. Pressure must be applied strategically, not just relying on raw athleticism, but through coordinated schemes, well-timed blitzes, and misdirection to disrupt Hurts' rhythm. Mobile quarterbacks thrive when defenders are reactive rather than proactive, so the Cowboys must anticipate movements and adjust on the fly. The combination of edge rushers and interior linemen creating lanes for pressure will be vital, as every hurried throw, misread, or sack could swing momentum in Dallas' favor. Run defense remains an equally important factor. Saquon Barkley is dynamic and explosive, capable of breaking big runs that instantly shift the energy in a stadium. The Cowboys must not only limit Barkley's yardage, but also prevent him from getting into a rhythm. Defensive tackles, linebackers, and secondary players must maintain discipline, avoiding over-pursuit and ensuring containment on the edges. Even with Kenny Clark anchoring the line, the unit's cohesion will be tested repeatedly. A single blown assignment could open a hole for a game-changing play, so communication and awareness are critical throughout every snap. The Cowboys' defense needs to be sound, aggressive, and adaptable to counter both designed runs and improvised scrambles. The running game for Dallas has its own narrative. While the preseason offered glimpses of potential, regular season football presents an entirely different challenge. The offensive line will need to open sufficient gaps. The running backs must hit their reads decisively, and the quarterback must make timely decisions on read option plays or handoffs. Establishing even a modest threat on the ground keeps the Eagles honest, preventing them from crowding the line of scrimmage and allowing for a more effective passing attack. It's a delicate balance. The Cowboys can't rely solely on the run, but without it, the offense risks becoming predictable. Success in the rushing attack directly impacts third down efficiency, time of possession, and the overall ability to control the game's tempo. Turnovers and situational football are another layer of complexity. Both teams understand that the first mistake can swing momentum dramatically. A fumble, a deflected pass, or a missed coverage could immediately shift confidence from one locker room to another. The Cowboys need to emphasize ball security, smart decision-making, and minimizing risky plays early in the game. Likewise, defensive discipline, reading the quarterback, anticipating audibles, and avoiding penalties is essential to capitalize on any opportunity Philadelphia might present. These small but critical factors often define the narrative of a close game, particularly in Week 1, where momentum swings are amplified by the freshness of the season. Special teams, often overlooked, can also play a decisive role. A well-timed kick return, a blocked punt, or a precise field goal attempt can alter the field position battle and ultimately contribute to the scoreboard. Precision in these moments is crucial. Dallas special teams must execute flawlessly to avoid giving the Eagles easy advantages or failing to seize opportunities when they present themselves. Every yard gained or lost on special teams could magnify the impact of individual plays across the field. Another intangible factor is energy and mentality. Week 1 matchups are as much about confidence as they are about skill. The Cowboys need to play with the "no one believes in us" mindset, transforming skepticism into fuel. The mental edge, believing in every assignment, staying focused after setbacks, and maintaining intensity for 60 minutes, can be the difference between a competitive game and a lopsided result. Coach Schottenheimer's ability to instill belief, maintain composure, and motivate the players could be just as important as any tactical adjustment. Leadership, both on the sideline and within the locker room, will guide the team through moments of adversity. As the opening kickoff approaches, the chess match begins. Each team studies tendencies, analyzes film, and prepares for a series of adjustments. Dallas will be looking to exploit matchups, attack weak points in the Eagles' defense, and maintain adaptability when Philadelphia counters. The interplay between strategy and execution, preparation and in-game adjustments, sets the stage for a contest that promises high intensity, strategic depth, and a showcase of both skill and resilience. Every snap, every route, every tackle becomes part of a broader narrative that extends beyond this single game. It signals what the season could hold for both teams. The interplay of speed, strength, and intelligence on the field makes this one of the most anticipated matchups of the season. It's about momentum swings, quick decisions, and the ability to capitalize on small advantages. Dallas has all the tools needed for success: a capable quarterback, explosive skill players, a strengthening offensive line, and a defense ready to rise to the challenge. What remains is execution, turning preparation into results under the bright lights of an NFL stadium, with millions watching and every fan hanging on to each play. The mental toughness, the precise coordination, and the individual brilliance all converge in moments that define careers and legacies. Ultimately, this isn't just about stats, past performance, or reputations. It's about the current iteration of each team and how well they respond to pressure, adversity, and opportunity. The Cowboys are entering a hostile environment, facing a champion and looking to establish themselves early in the season. They have the tools, the talent, and the potential to pull off a memorable victory, but the execution, focus, and mental edge will determine the outcome. Every adjustment, every decision, every flash of brilliance could tilt the balance in their favor. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Dallas Cowboys. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. A shocking turn of events has sent the sports world into a frenzy as Anthony Richardson, the young quarterback whose name has been buzzing through draft circles for months, has reportedly signed with the Dallas Cowboys. Rumors have been swirling for weeks about Richardson's potential landing spots, with analysts speculating whether a team with a storied history like the Cowboys would take the risk on a player known for his raw athleticism and cannon arm, but also for his inconsistent college performances. The news broke late last night, initially through unofficial sources before sports networks began amplifying the whispers in the headlines. Richardson's move to Dallas is already being dissected from every angle, from how he will fit into the current offensive scheme to the potential shakeup it may cause in the locker room. Fans are reacting with a mix of excitement and skepticism, debating whether this gamble will pay off or backfire spectacularly. Social media has exploded with memes, hot takes, and heated debates as the story unfolds, and the Cowboys front office has so far remained tight-lipped, only fueling speculation. Analysts are poring over every play from Richardson's college tape, trying to predict how his unique skill set might translate to the NFL, particularly behind a line that has struggled in past seasons. The chatter extends beyond the team's fan base, with former players, commentators, and even rival fans weighing in on the possible implications of this unprecedented signing. Some see it as a bold statement that Dallas is committed to shaking up the league, while others worry about the risks of putting so much faith in a relatively untested talent. The buzz is palpable, and insiders hint that more details may emerge soon, possibly revealing the terms of the contract that have kept fans and journalists on edge. In the meantime, the sports world watches with bated breath, aware that this single move could redefine both Richardson's career and the Cowboys' trajectory for seasons to come, igniting conversations that will dominate draft boards and highlight reels alike. Everyone from casual observers to die-hard NFL enthusiasts is speculating on what this signing means, not just for Richardson and Dallas, but for the competitive landscape of the league as a whole. The narrative is still developing, and every day seems to bring new angles, whispers, and tantalizing possibilities that make this story impossible to ignore. The implications of Anthony Richardson joining the Cowboys extend far beyond the immediate excitement of a high-profile signing. Coaches, analysts, and fans are all trying to make sense of what this decision reveals about Dallas' strategic vision, particularly in terms of nurturing young talent and reshaping the team's offensive identity. Sources close to the situation suggest that Richardson's arrival could trigger a ripple effect through the depth chart, prompting adjustments that may impact veteran players and emerging stars alike. Rumors indicate that some of the Cowboys' key offensive weapons are preparing to adapt their roles to complement Richardson's dual-threat capabilities, which combine explosive speed with an arm strength that few quarterbacks in the league possess. There is growing speculation that the front office sees Richardson not just as a starter for the upcoming season, but as the centerpiece of a long-term rebuilding plan aimed at returning the Cowboys to perennial playoff contention. Social media commentary highlights contrasting viewpoints. Some fans celebrate the audacity of acquiring a player of Richardson's athletic profile, envisioning highlight reel plays and deep playoff runs, while critics caution that his inconsistency under pressure could be a liability against elite defenses. Beyond the X's and O's, the story carries cultural weight within the NFL, feeding into narratives about risk-taking, innovation, and the ongoing search for the next game-changing quarterback. Journalists and insiders speculate about the internal dynamics that Richardson will face, including relationships with veteran leadership, expectations from a passionate fan base, and the pressure to deliver immediate results in a city where football fever is nearly unmatched. The Cowboys' decision to bring him in has set off a wave of conjecture that transcends the field, affecting everything from fantasy football projections to national sports debates. Richardson himself has remained mostly silent publicly, adding to the mystique and fueling rumors about his mindset and readiness to embrace the challenges ahead. Analysts are particularly interested in how his style of play might influence coaching decisions, play-calling tendencies, and offensive schemes that could redefine Dallas' approach to both home games and high-stakes matchups. The intrigue surrounding this move ensures that every practice, press conference, and preseason matchup will be scrutinized in excruciating detail, making the anticipation almost unbearable for fans and commentators alike. Industry insiders are abuzz with speculation over the potential impacts of Anthony Richardson's signing with the Dallas Cowboys, fueling a whirlwind of rumors that are impossible to ignore for anyone paying attention to NFL chatter. The conversations range from the practical to the speculative, covering questions about how Richardson's unique blend of speed, agility, and arm talent might transform Dallas' offensive game plan, to the more sensational idea that this signing could spark a broader trend of teams willing to gamble on unconventional quarterback talents. Early whispers suggest that coaches are evaluating how to best integrate Richardson into existing schemes without disrupting team chemistry. But the player's reputation for improvisation and game-changing athleticism could require a complete rethinking of standard offensive structures. Analysts are theorizing about possible formations, read options, and dynamic plays that capitalize on Richardson's dual-threat nature, while skeptics caution that relying too heavily on raw athleticism without a solid foundational skill set might lead to growing pains that could impact the Cowboys season. Fans are debating endlessly on forums and social platforms, some envisioning instant success, others warning of the classic rookie hype pitfalls, with every social media post and sports podcast fueling more layers of conjecture. Even rival teams are reportedly monitoring the situation closely, understanding that Richardson's presence in Dallas could have league-wide ramifications, influencing defensive strategies and the way opponents prepare for the Cowboys' unique offensive possibilities. The buzz is further intensified by speculation surrounding Richardson's contract terms, with insiders hinting at potential incentives tied to performance metrics that could motivate both the player and the coaching staff. Stories about locker room reactions, practice performances, and potential mentor-mentee dynamics with veteran quarterbacks have also emerged, adding layers of intrigue and uncertainty to an already heated rumor mill. The overall narrative is one of excitement, risk, and anticipation, as everyone from casual spectators to hardcore analysts tries to project how this move will alter the NFL landscape. Social media trends, sports radio commentary, and online debates all reflect a growing obsession with the story, underscoring the cultural significance of Richardson's leap into one of the league's most scrutinized franchises. The suspense surrounding his first games with the Cowboys is now almost tangible, with every preseason snapshot, highlight reel, and coach interview being dissected for hidden clues about the team's plans. This story, fueled by whispers and speculation, is shaping up to dominate NFL conversations for months, with the potential to redefine expectations for young quarterbacks entering high-pressure environments. The layers of rumor, excitement, and strategic intrigue make this one of the most captivating narratives in recent league history, captivating fans and insiders alike. Among the most tantalizing aspects of Anthony Richardson's sudden association with the Dallas Cowboys is the swirling speculation regarding his fit with the team's existing quarterback hierarchy and offensive line dynamics. Rumors indicate that internal discussions are ongoing, with coaches and management evaluating not just Richardson's athletic capabilities, but also his adaptability to high-stakes professional competition. Questions abound about how he will respond to the intense scrutiny of a Dallas fan base that is famously impatient yet passionately supportive, as well as how he will adjust to a system designed to maximize efficiency rather than improvisation. Observers are theorizing about the domino effects of this signing, from potential position shifts to new play-calling strategies intended to exploit Richardson's unique blend of mobility and arm strength. Analysts are already debating whether the Cowboys' decision reflects a bold, forward-looking philosophy, prioritizing innovation, or a risky gamble that could either catapult the team to a new level of dominance or expose weaknesses in critical matchups. Speculation also extends to Richardson's relationships with veteran team members, coaches, and mentors, with rumors suggesting that locker room dynamics may evolve dramatically as the team integrates a young quarterback with a high ceiling. Sports commentators are dissecting every detail of Richardson's college career, looking for indicators of leadership potential, mental toughness, and the ability to read defenses under pressure, while fan forums explode with debates that mix hopeful predictions with cautious skepticism. There is a palpable tension in the air as media outlets speculate on whether Richardson's signing could inspire the Cowboys to make additional roster adjustments, trade decisions, or strategic gambles that reflect confidence in his long-term potential. The intrigue surrounding his skill set, especially his ability to create plays both inside and outside the pocket, is dominating preseason coverage and driving conversations that touch every aspect of the sport, from play design to fantasy projections. Analysts are particularly curious about how his arrival might shift the balance of power in the NFC East, with some suggesting that rival teams may have to rethink defensive strategies to counter his dynamic play style. Meanwhile, Richardson's personal preparation and adaptation to professional life remain a subject of intense speculation, fueling narratives that blend hope, uncertainty, and anticipation in ways that keep fans and pundits glued to every rumor. Every practice report, throw, and team announcement is now scrutinized, with the potential to either validate or refute the swirling conjecture, creating an atmosphere where anticipation and rumor dominate the conversation almost as much as on-field performance. The media storm surrounding Anthony Richardson's reported signing with the Dallas Cowboys has only intensified as analysts, insiders, and fans weigh in on the long-term ramifications of this high-profile move. Speculation abounds regarding the potential evolution of the Cowboys' offensive identity, with whispers suggesting that the team might leverage Richardson's dual-threat capabilities to implement innovative schemes rarely seen at the professional level. Some insiders hint that the organization may be preparing to tailor practice regimens, film study, and even conditioning programs specifically to maximize Richardson's explosive speed and playmaking potential, indicating a level of commitment that goes beyond a simple contract signing. The rumor mill also includes discussions about how Richardson's presence might influence recruitment, scouting, and future draft strategies, as the team seeks to build around a quarterback who could redefine the franchise's approach to offensive versatility. Fans and commentators are speculating endlessly about potential highlight reel moments, trick plays, and deep passes that could turn the Cowboys into a team capable of reshaping league-wide defensive strategies. Meanwhile, rival teams are reportedly monitoring every development closely, understanding that Richardson's dynamic skill set could force adjustments that ripple far beyond Dallas. Social media has exploded with debates, memes, and heated arguments, reflecting both optimism and caution as observers question whether Richardson can maintain consistency, develop chemistry with receivers, and withstand the pressures of professional play. There is also rampant speculation regarding the psychological dimension, as insiders suggest that Richardson's mental resilience and adaptability will be key factors in determining whether he thrives in an environment filled with intense media scrutiny and high expectations. Analysts are dissecting past performance trends, college statistics, and anecdotal reports from coaches and teammates to assess whether the hype matches his real-world capabilities. In essence, every aspect of Richardson's career trajectory and the Cowboys' future seems to be up for debate, with whispers of internal meetings, strategic recalibrations, and potential surprises dominating the rumor landscape. The narrative surrounding this signing has quickly evolved into one of the most talked-about stories in the NFL, capturing attention not only for the immediate shock value, but for the tantalizing possibilities it presents, ensuring that every update, practice note, and preseason performance will be analyzed with near-obsessive intensity. The combination of talent, risk, and intrigue makes this signing a perfect storm for speculation, keeping fans, analysts, and rivals guessing about what might happen next, and how it could reshape the trajectory of both Richardson's career and the storied franchise he now calls home. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Dallas Cowboys, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We always look forward to your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.